To you. It's official that I'm transferring from Indiana University, and I'll talk about it later.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Stair reporting live from the IU campus in Bloomington the day after President Miles Brand fired legendary basketball coach Bob Knight. We're going to have much more coverage of the day's developments coming from here in just a moment. But first, let's go back to Indianapolis. Bob, here as well, a day of developments. Players, assistant coaches, and athletic director Clarence Doniger speaking to reporters today. The latter, just the last few minutes, our Eyewitness News reporter Rory Johnson, who's been here all day, spoke with athletics director Clarence Doniger. What did he have to say to you?
Yeah, just a few minutes ago, John, I ran into Clarence Doniger in the hallway. He allowed me to bring the camera into his office. He's very busy, and speak with him about these developments and the key issue here about replacing Bob Knight with an interim coach. Here's what Clarence Doniger had to say.
One priority right now is trying to have a smooth transition as we go from this legendary coach, and at the same time trying to accommodate the players who at this point are, they're hurt, some confusion, and they want some stability. Other than talking with the players and the existing coaches, I have talked to nobody. I've talked with both Mike Davis and John Treloar. In fact, Terry Claypax, Vice President of Administration, and I talked with them both last night, and we let them know that we would like for them to continue to be a part of the program.
Those are the two key players, assistant coaches Mike Davis and John Treloar. And as we left the office, John, Vice President for Administration Terry Claypax was returning to meet further with Clarence Doniger. They are the two men responsible for this transition, and he did tell me that they want to take care of this as quickly as possible.
A lot on Doniger's shoulders right now. In fact, we saw the players earlier today walk in his office. The players were angry as they walked in. They were threatening to resign en masse. After he met with them, they sang a different tune.
That's right. They were very upset. He acknowledged that, and he said he's spoken with them each day now over the week. The past 3 days he's spoken with the players, and he just assured them they will do everything possible to make this a smooth transition and try to hire someone from within. And the players want Mike Davis.
All right. Thank you, Rory. Well, this is the center of the IU campus today, but
by morning had most of the mess cleaned up, and students faced up to reality.
I think people are just sad and feel like they're powerless over the situation.
Another reality of college life, the first exams of the semester are going to occur in a couple of days. When students started talking about the possibility of more protests, more than one student reminded me, saying, you know, my parents sent me here to get an education, not see me at some demonstration over a basketball coach. We'll be watching the campus to see what happens. Reporting live from the Bloomington campus, Rich Van Wyk, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Rich. Where the interim coach will be hired.
It's our hope to have something in the works that can be announced by the end of the week, but it's a very fluid situation. Athletic Director Clarence Doniger is literally working around the clock. It is our desire to do this expeditiously. We owe that to the current players. We owe it to our alumni, so that is our hope.
And there also is an environment here, a sometimes ugly environment, directed towards student Ken Harvey, who was involved in the incident last week with Coach Knight. How do we know that he will be safe when he returns to classes in a couple of weeks?
We have spoken to the family, and we have pledged we'll do everything possible to ensure he has the opportunity to have a productive educational experience at IU. When it gets to the point in a situation like this where there are threats, there are death threats, and unfortunately all of us at the university's senior staff are receiving them now, it is reprehensible. We're getting our priorities badly out of order when this goes from an athletic event, which is a very important story, and I don't mean to diminish the magnitude of what happened yesterday, but to go from there to death threats is reprehensible.
Christopher Simpson, thank you very much. Appreciate it. University Vice President Christopher Simpson. Now, another person who has received death threats in the past.
And the fans, just because out of spite for what they've done.
Doug Carey and family aren't among the dozens of fans who called here angrily demanding refunds, but they understand.
Like these young men are part of Bobby, part of his recruiting. I think you see a lot of change of heart, but you'll also see those who will stray because of all of this.
This is uncharted territory, a season that has a 10-year ticket waiting list.
If we start playing like we should, and we have the team that we have, then fans will still come to the games.
And finally, an appeal for unity from one player. What would you like to tell the fans right now?
I mean, just to stay with us, you know what I'm saying? I mean, as far as we know right now, this, you know what I'm saying, we're still going to be a decent team, and just stay with us, you know what I'm saying? Don't desert us. We need all the support we can get.
Typically 16 to 17 home games here, 17,000 tickets sold for each one of those games. The big concern right now among the angriest fans are those with long-term ties tonight, the season ticket holders. Reporting live, Rich Reeve, back to John.
All right, thank you, Richard. Now, something that we wanted to show you tonight is a good moment, the last victory that Bobby Knight coached here at Assembly Hall. This was a big win over Purdue last spring. It happened on February 29th. The Hoosiers beating Purdue by a score of 79-65. Nobody knew it at the time, but this was his last game coaching here in Bloomington. It was also senior night, and IU went on to play, of course, in the NCAA tournament. We're going to be continuing to follow
news coming from Bloomington. It looks like the General isn't the only one leaving IU. Anthony Calhoun joins us live via satellite. A lot happening, but it looks like it's quieted down around you a little bit tonight.
It is a little bit, man, but I tell you what, Will, we've got some serious IU fans down here in Bloomington. But as you mentioned, yes, one player is leaving. Dane Fife announced it today that he is going to transfer to another university. He met earlier with Coach Bob Knight and told him about his decision to move on to another university. Of course, Coach Knight agreed with him that it would probably be best for Fife to move on to find another university. As far as Clarence Doniger, the athletic director here at Indiana University, Fife got his release papers from him today. He has yet to sign anything, but he did get his papers from the athletic director today, Clarence Doniger. Now, about Mike Davis, many of the players will be joining Fife if Mike Davis is not named the interim head coach, I should say. Now, a group of players, as we mentioned, did meet with IU athletic director Clarence Doniger, and they gave him an ultimatum. If assistant coach Mike Davis isn't named the interim coach, then they're out of here.
You know, I got to make sure all these players are okay because, you know, I played a part in them being here. You know, so, you know, it's kind of crazy because they all are scattering around. And once I can sit down and talk to them and see what's going on.
I'm transferring, and there'll be other players with me. I guarantee it.
No dotted lines will be signed till this thing is resolved. Then the dotted lines will be signed. So Dane is saying he's going to transfer. I'm sure he feels strong about that. You know, that's Dane, but that's not me. Like, if I have anything to do with this, I'm not letting anybody transfer. I will be the last one to transfer. I would damn sure transfer if one of those two coaches aren't here.
Just by yourself, just a lot of different things that I feel have helped me in different parts of my life.
Received several calls and
players always loyal.
I will definitely